So good evening everybody and welcome to Meet the Judge live on Facebook and YouTube. Tonight we travel all the way to Finland and we meet the one and only Tiina Taulos. Tiina is a very accomplished, very clever breeder, particularly of Poodles, Boston Terriers of late and French Bulldogs. Very popular judge worldwide. A very good friend in Ireland, and always very welcoming this side of the world. And as you can see by the reaction to the announcement when I said she was coming on live, she really is a very popular person. Good evening, Tiina.
Good evening, and good evening from which is the happiest country in the world for the fourth time. I'm very fine, thank you.
And before we start into your interview, how are things in Finland regarding COVID?
Well, we have still many cases, but you know, we have a big country, plenty of place, so some only the restaurants are closed, and I can visit my friends, my close friends, where I'm again here. I think it's okay. I'm not complaining. Nothing has changed for me except that I'm not judging. I'm breeding dogs and I cannot go to shows, but life is wonderful. First time for many years I'm having a nice rest, if you could say so.
And do you think there will be dog shows in Finland this year?
Yes, of course.
You will?
Of course.
Okay.
Many. Okay. After June, maybe more.
Right. Okay. And obviously there will be heavy restrictions.
Yeah, but actually we had already shows last autumn, and they were organized very, very well. We had outside shows, and dogs came 1 hour before the judgment, and after the show ring they left. We didn't have group finals, and so there were plenty of space and no one got ill during the dog shows.
Oh, well, that's good. That's good. We already have quite a few people watching. Gabriella Vega is watching.
Yes.
Oliver Noonan, Sinead Taggart, Anne Ingram, I'll say hello.
Hello, Ireland. I miss you all.
And starting off, Tiina, as you were growing up, did your parents have dogs, or how did you get involved into the sport?
Well, both of my parents had a German Shepherd in their childhood homes, but they were not like a doggy people. But we had an English Cocker Spaniel, which came like 1967, and he was one of the first ones with PRA. So it was kind of medical, whatever, surprise. But after he died, I wanted to have a poodle because my good friend had a silver toy, which was international champion, and I wanted to have a dog with plenty of hair and who I can brush and put plenty of rubber bands. So I wanted to have a silver toy, but unfortunately, or maybe luckily, there were none. So at some point, the mother of my boyfriend was the treasurer of the Finnish Poodle Club. So she started to call around how I should get a poodle. And then one famous breeder said that her very famous dog that was from England called Miradel Magnus. He became Dog of the Year in Finland 1976, that he had sired a litter and there were 2 males available. So my silver toy female turned out to be like a black medium male. I think it was the best that could have happened. So that was the start of my poodle career. Year 77.
So this would be your first?
Yes, hobby country. Father Miradel Magnus and mother Aspen Alassio. So both parents were from England.
Right. And did you make them up a champion, or how long did it take you to start winning in that breed?
Okay, the first show was Helsinki International. He was 8 months old and didn't behave very well. Then second show was kind of practicing, but the third show he got his first CC, and the judge was Joe Braden.
Okay, yes, the famous Joe Braden.
78, yeah.
And what was it about poodles that really wanted you to so have a poodle?
Oh, I wanted to have a dog with plenty of hair, rubber bands, brushing, washing, blow drying. It was fabulous. Very easy.
Poodles are very easy.
Well, easy choice for me. My father actually wanted to have a German wire-coated pointer, and that was kind of a competition who is going to win. But of course, I won because I was daddy's girl.
Okay, yeah, isn't everybody? And you're still in poodles up to today. So
yeah,
give us, for people who aren't familiar with poodles that much, give us the essence of the poodle breed.
Poodle is elegance, attitude, gorgeous head, beautiful coat, and dancing kind of movement. And if they're lacking that, they are not true poodles.
And the most important aspect of a poodle for you?
Well, for me, type is type, but the attitude and has to have charisma, head and tail up. And when it walks in, it can have some faults. I don't mind. But some dogs, they just carry their faults better than others. You can have a perfectly built poodle who looks like a clumsy cow because it doesn't have the charisma or attitude. But poodle is a poodle. You know when a good one walks in.
Yes.
Everyone knows. Yeah.
I think that's very true. And particularly some of the top winning poodles we've seen over the years, like that famous poodle that Jason won was a Crufts. You can see the attitude when they walk in, and it's a question of, well, who's going to be second.
Of course, Ricky is one of my big favorites. I was clapping and screaming like a crazy one at Crufts when he was winning.
So when you started showing, I have asked you what people who influenced you greatly when you started showing. Now, you've supplied me with some photographs. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pop the photographs up, and you can explain who these people are and why they were so influential. Okay, so we start off with.
Here is Mira del Magnus. That's the miniature poodle. Actually, here in FCA country we call them medium size, but the medium size black dog Mira del Magnus, who was top dog all breeds in Finland 1976. And the lady behind her is Elsa-Mai Ikänen-Heimonen. Unfortunately, she passed away a couple of years ago. Her prefix was Jokers, and she helped me to find my first dog. She was the one telling me how to blow dry the dog and was grooming, scissoring my dog at the beginning.
Okay, yeah. And then we move on to what I think is an absolutely fabulous photograph.
Oh, which one? Oh, yeah. Look at the hair. We are like from Europe. Singing Final Countdown. This is sometimes in 80s, and the fabulous lady next to me is Astrid Jarski, kennel top score. Actually, her white standard poodle won Best in Show at Crufts with Micke Nilsson. I think that was 2002, so some years has been passing. But this picture is from 1980s, and she had seen me showing several times in Norway, and I never won. And then she had been asking from a friend of mine that, okay, this girl from Finland, what do you think about her? And of course, my friend was saying some nice things about me. His name was Ole Anders Sturmi. I think Ole Anders is still doing very well. So at some point, I visited Astrid, and when I went to her home, to breed my female with her big winning talk about top score, she asked me if I would like to have a female. And I said, what? So she gave me a female called Top Score Nobody's Business, who she had been breeding a few weeks before, but she actually didn't remember the correct date.
Mm-hmm.
So I went home with Petra, Top Score Nobody's Business, and my own female. And of course, my husband of the time got really mad about it, but you know what happens. You keep the dogs.
Yeah.
And she had a litter at my home, and she wanted me to use my prefix for this litter. And one dog called Kenmore Top Score Viva is behind many medium poodles of the time, was a very good one, inheriting beautiful poodles.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And Astrid is the one who has been teaching me grooming. I remember several times that I was driving from Finland to Norway, and I was sitting in her grooming room down in the basement, and she had a cigarette in the mouth, and then we were drinking wine and whatever, and it was maybe 4 o'clock in the morning when we finished, and I think those were the times that I'm really missing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then we move on to...
I'm only sitting and drinking.
And we move on now to...
Yeah, that's Henrik Hanelius. I could say that he has been most influential in my poodle life. Henrik was the one who was one of the members establishing Finnish Poodle Club. I think year was something like 1965, 67. And he's a vet. He breeds with prefix of Hanelhill. And he's amazing with his memory. He can remember generation after generation. And actually, he gave me a book maybe 40 years ago. It was English small book called The Miniature Poodle. And in the cover, he wrote to the future breeder of poodles and
wow.
signature and the date. And I still have it, of course.
Wow. I'm amazed at when I interview people, how many people mention the next person that I'm going to put up on the screen, because he really seems to have been so influential on so many people, and not just Finnish people, but people worldwide, and it's the one and only.
Hasse, yeah. Yes, Hasse used to come home every time I had a litter, or we had a litter, my ex-husband Juha. So we had so-called pup testing shows in the living room, and he was always interesting to seeing all the puppies. And then, years after years, he said, okay, how this has been doing, and what did it win? And very, very clever dog man. Unfortunately, he's also with other clever dog men, but
yes.
you could always trust his opinion. You could always trust his opinion, and especially when our opinions were very, very similar. To say something, the lady behind his shoulder is dear friend Gabriela Veiga from Portugal.
Oh yes, who's watching actually? Yes. Good evening, Gabriela.
Yes, Gabriela.
What a threesome! I bet you that was a fun weekend.
Yeah.
And finally, well, a man who really needs no mention, and one of the renowned poodle people of this world.
Oh yeah, Carlos. Yes, it was amazing when we met. He was judging in Helsinki. This was 1990 December show, and my boyfriend at the time, later he became my husband, was handling White Standard for someone else. And then Carlos went to him and asked if he was a professional handler. And of course, Juha answered that we don't have professional handlers in Finland. So he asked that, well, here's a picture of my dog. Would you like to show it? of course, Juha said nothing. And after the judgment, Juha came to me and said, this man asked if I would like to have this dog. And then he showed me the picture of Gordon as a puppy. And I said, Jesus Christ, go back to him. So I walked to Carlos and I said, yes, I'm the girlfriend. Of course, we want to have Gordon. And of course, for the following weekend, we went to show at Stockholm, big Stockholm show. And during that week, there had been several calls. Carlos had been calling to Hasse, to Kari, to Rainer, asking, who is this couple, Tiina and Juha? And thank God, these Kari, Hasse, and Rainer said that, okay, if you want to send a poodle to Finland, they are the people you should send it.
Okay.
So December 21st, the flight landed to the snowy Helsinki, and we took out Gordon from the crate. And Juha took him and was running, and I looked at the dog and I said that, okay, this one is going to be dog of the year 1991, and he did.
And that's what you call your wedding present, am I right?
No, this is the daughter who came actually when she's his daughter, and we had the first show where we showed Gordon was Turku International, very big show. I think there were something like between 7,000-8,000 dogs entered, 6,000-7,000 dogs. So when we went, of course, to meet Carlos at the airport, and then he said that I have something for you, and she was in the crate. Of course, this picture is from '94. So when she came, she was like 6-7 month old puppy, and it was our wedding present. We got married 2 months later.
Wow.
So that's Piranha del Zarzoso Blonde Ambition.
Well, that's one hell of a wedding present.
Yeah, she was hell of a dog.
Yeah. And Anne Ingram is just saying that Gordon and Anne Ingram would be, like yourself, one of the world-renowned poodle breeders of our time. That Gordon was one of the most influential stud dogs of his time, and truly a great show dog. So he obviously did have a huge influence on the breed. So again, now you've supplied me with photographs. So as I said in the post when I was introducing you, if you're into photographs, this is a great session because there are some great photos here. Your biggest achievement as an exhibitor. Now, again, I'm gonna put the photos up, and if you just explain to viewers why they were such big achievements, okay? I'll try and put them in a correct order.
Okay, this is from 1995. That's Kenmore's Rubiazzo, nicknamed Franco, was just a young dog, and this is Best in Show in Finnish winner show. Group judge was late Enrique Filippini, and Best in Show judge was Marisa Brivio Kellini.
Okay.
That's a great win.
Yeah. And is this the same dog?
Actually, yes, when he is an adult dog. This is from Helsinki, from Olympic Stadium. That's the one and only Mr. Poodle, Mr. Frank Sabella. Yeah. He did the group, and I remember when I was running to the Best in Show ring, he was sitting by the ringside, of course, with all the judges, saying something like, "Oh, here comes the king." He was calling him the king. And later, wonderful Mr. Luis Pinto Teixeira was judging Best in Show and gave him the Best in Show. And actually, all the dogs that were placed got a vacuum cleaner. The winner got the red one, the second one got the blue one, and then yellow and green. So nice presents.
Yes, but it must have been a great win under somebody like Frank Sabella, who
and actually
we lost recently.
Yes, unfortunately. He had a great life, a wonderful person, and he saw the dog at this show, and then he went back to America and told to Shoshno family that he has seen a very beautiful white dog in Finland. So later on, it was like history. He moved to America, but it took a couple of months, and he became Dog of the Year before.
Staying with poodles.
That's one of my big favorites called Kenmore's Obsession. He went best in show in Helsinki winner show, Finnish winner show 1993. Best in show judge was Terry Thorne, and I understood that Anne Ingram and Angela Korish were at the show at the same time. They were judging, and then they both said to me that, we said to Terry that this is so beautiful, Poodle, so maybe that was kind of a hint to Terry to put him.
Hardly. By the look of that photograph there, I'd say that dog won on its own merits.
Yeah.
It looks like it has a stunning head.
You see, my hair color and his color looks the same, but his was natural, and I think I had a bit of color on mine.
And we move on then to...
That's the same dog.
Same dog.
This is from Helsinki, 93.
That's one hell of a pose.
Yeah, and actually it looks like the hair of the dog is more pale from the top, but it was the light. Yes.
Yes. And
it was not that it was faded.
And
that is Kari Järvinen, actually.
That's a very young Kari Järvinen.
Yeah, he was the president, the chairman of the show, and yes, that's Kari.
Oh, my
Greetings to Kari if he's watching.
And we can't. We've been on poodles now. We have to give Boston's a mention. So,
of course, I'm very, very, very proud of them. I got my first one in 2006. 2005, sorry. Why I got to Boston was that I'm sorry to this person, someone in Spain wanted to have a good Boston. So I visited with my partner of the time, famous breeder in Holland, Mieke Kooijmans, who has now more of the Affenpinchers. And we went to see her dogs because someone wanted to have a good Boston. So later she said that, okay, I will send you some picture when I have a good one to offer. And one day when I opened my emails and I saw the picture of the female puppy she was offering, I said that, I will buy this. So I bought her and I found another one to go to Spain. And these are her grandchildren or great-grandchildren. This is from a breeding group, Best in Show breeding group, a couple of years back, not so long time ago. The reason why I'm so proud of it is because we got 3 Best in Shows in 3 shows, like in a row. It was kind of a hat trick. And with the breed without any coat, you cannot hide anything.
Absolutely.
So it was kind of making history that this kind of short-coated dogs with flat faces, so many are against the flat faces. They think they look ugly, but for me, I just love these flat faces. So I'm very proud of them.
And French Bulldogs, again, as you mentioned, flat faces, you're not quite as successful. You are a very successful French Bulldog breeder also, are you not?
Well, I wouldn't call myself a famous French Bulldog breeder. I have been
successful.
Yes, but I've been owning, or my ex-partner had a beautiful, beautiful Frenchies, and that's how I got familiar with the breed. I have an old female home who is 9 years old, and then I have a one year old young female, and now for a long time I'm expecting a litter in 3 weeks, and I am really hoping to get something. I know that there are 3 puppies left. 3 she has already been absorbing, but from the ultra we can see that there are 3. So I'm just crossing my fingers. It would be nice to have a Frenchie litter.
And Philomena Leonard says, do you remember your weekend in Lithuania with the boys? I've no idea what that is.
Do you think I will remember something from this weekend?
So we mentioned your pedigree as a breeder. So When you are choosing what dog to mate, what bitch to, do you study pedigrees a lot, or do you use your eye and say, well, I think that dog is going to suit that bitch, or is it a combination of both?
Well, if you see an ugly dog, who wants to see the pedigree?
Well,
That's
that's
not for
true.
me.
Yes.
For me, it's type, and type. And when I see a beautiful dog, then I might want to see the pedigree. But there are many times I see something that I think that this can match my girl. And to be honest, only very few times it has not been the case. But I think eye is very,
Mm,
very important for a dog
mm.
person, for a judge, for a breeder. If you don't have the eye, then you're blind.
Yes, I agree with you. Yeah, I actually agree with you. And I also think, and agree or disagree with me here, that an awful lot of people see a very stunning dog or bitch in the ring and say, oh, I must use that dog. But in actual fact, it's not
I
that
do not.
dog you should use. It's the sire that you should
I
use.
agree. Yes, exactly. A couple of years ago, I was judging in Sweden. I did medium poodles, and later on, I realized that my best of breed, my second best dog, and my best female were sired by the same dog.
Mm-hmm.
A Russian bred dog living in Norway, and of course I got very excited about it. And I have a female who is a dwarf poodle, but her parents are mediums. So I applied a kind of permission to use this dog for her because I want to continue with medium poodle breeding, and I thought that if I breed her to a beautiful medium dog, maybe hopefully the puppies will grow big enough to become medium. So
Mm-hmm.
I really also like the idea of using the father. But
Mm.
many times, of course, there is no father or there is no semen or whatever.
That is also true. That is
Yeah.
also true. Jose Aman de Mello just said breeding is an art and Tiina is an artist. There's a compliment.
Oh, Jose, hola, hola.
But he is also an artist with basset hounds.
He is absolutely gorgeous
Yeah.
dogs. He breeds.
Um, so when did you first start judging?
I became judge 2002. We have our exams, and of course the final is your own breed exam of your own breed. We always have it in September. So my first judging appointment was the following March, was Tampere International. I was not invited there, but someone got ill. So because I was a new judge, they asked me if I would do it, and of course I was judging toy and dwarf poodles.
Mm-hmm.
It was a big entry at the time. It was about 80 dogs, so I was very happy. And to start from the big show like Tampere, it's very nice start.
And before you actually went into judge, did you seek advice from your peers, and if so, what was the best piece of advice that you were given?
Well, the best piece of advice is that okay, do it by your heart, and after the judging next day, you are the one who's watching the mirror. Are you happy with what you did?
That's very good. I like that. I
Yeah.
like that. And
Me too.
do you think now for aspiring judges or judges who are starting off on their judging career, do you think it's important for them to go and ask questions or to sit and listen to um, uh, experienced judges? Or if for instance you were judging poodles at a show, how important do you think it is for aspiring judges of that breed to go and watch and learn?
Well, absolutely. I think we all need mentors, and for example, myself, if I want to study about a new breed, I contact some judge, which has been Marja Talvitie, Rainer Vuorinen, Kari. I
Mm-hmm.
have plenty. My friend Jussi. I have good friends who are good judges. and I ask about their opinions, and we study about the breed, and I think that's the way to learn. And then we go and we visit some breeder where they have more dogs, and we listen to the breeders, and they normally say what they would like to hear from judges, or what they don't like if judges are doing, or what's important for them in that special breed. I think mentors are most important in our hobby.
And do you think enough people actually go down that road? Do you think enough people use that?
No, of course not. There are so many who think that they know everything. They don't even study the standard before they are judging. Pity.
And right now, how many breeds do you judge?
Well,
roughly.
I have full groups 3, 4, 5, 8, 9, and 10. I have done all the lessons with every breed, and I am missing one breed exam from my all-rounder status.
Wow.
Yes, wow. Has been taking many nights and days and weeks and years.
Wow.
And kilometers and money. And nights.
Good evening. I take it that's UC, yes?
Yes, that's UC.
Yeah. Good evening. And even at this level, you are still doing exams?
Yes, of course. We have to have exam of each breed. But when you have enough breeds in some group, then it's enough that you have kind of an easier exam, which means that you still have the exam, but maybe you don't need to give a critic of 10 dogs. It's enough you do maybe 4 dogs.
Okay.
But we have to have lesson of each breed. Okay. And of course, we have our own program in Finland for the all-rounder. We call it all-rounder tube. And then there are mentioned the breeds that are, more important, and it's due to the because of the registrations. If there's a breed that has a big registration every year, then you have to do the exam, and if there are only a few puppies born in the year, then it's enough that you have the lesson.
Okay, right. Well, that seems fair enough, because I mean, when you get to a certain level, it must ease. So yes, that seems fair enough. And do you enjoy judging abroad?
I love it, and I miss it. I think this dog world is fabulous in the way that wherever you go, you always have friends, and especially abroad. Of course I like to see my friends, but it's always nice to see new material for my breeding, and in different countries they do some things different, so I really enjoy it. And if I'm done with my own ring, I like to go by the ringside and to watch some of my friends judging and to see what they are doing. Yes,
and I know you've judged quite extensively in different continents, etc. And I also know it's very difficult, but do you have kind of a favorite place to judge, or someone you really enjoyed?
Well, to be honest,
aside from Ireland, of course.
Of course, Ireland. I must have some Irish blood in myself, because I think at my past life I was Irish, and when I was a young girl I had red hair and freckles, and I love Irish music. I love Irish pubs, and we have so gorgeous men in Ireland. So Irish is my country. The problem in Ireland is the weather.
Yes, but the problem is, of course, you feel like you're Irish, because we are all descended from Scandinavians, because the Vikings came over here and just so.
But yes, but my favorite show, of course, I am not going to lie, it's Finnish Winter Show. December, both Helsinki and Finnish Winter Show. I love it. I love the hall. I love the hotel. I love the big rings, and how everything is so well organized, and always there will be like 100 judges, so it's a place to meet your friends. My second best show for me, I'm very proud of. Jussi is the president of our club, our Finnish toy club. We have a very, very famous toy show where we can have like 1,000 toy dogs in one day. But of course, there are plenty of wonderful shows, and of course, it also has a lot to do with the panel. If you have a nice panel with your friends, and I'm not going to be cranky, but to be honest, it's nice to have a decent hotel and a good meal.
Yes.
And that you are treated like you are a foreigner. You have maybe a long trip, and people take you like you are a guest.
Yes, I don't, and we've said this over various interviews. As judges that judge abroad quite a lot, people don't realize that it is a lot of hard work. When you come back from, and you don't, unless you're on a long haul trip, you don't really get to see much outside of the hotel and the dog show. So when you are finished judging after a long day, you do like to come back and have nice hospitality, and in general it is.
Yes.
But it's hard work.
But it can also be totally different. And then, of course, when they ask you for the next time, I say, no, thank you.
Yeah.
I love my house and I love my friends, so I can stay home.
Yeah. And aside from your own breeds, is there a breed you really like to judge?
Well, I like to judge, of course, Group 9 breeds. From Group 9, I really like to judge Bichon Frise, Shih Tzu, Tibetan Terrier, Chihuahuas. But terriers, they are like something that belongs to my past.
Yes.
We had Fox Terriers and Westies, and with another partner, we had Jack Russell Terriers. So I find kind of a terrier in myself, so I like terriers to judge them.
And as you mentioned Jack Russell Terriers, do you think, because Jack Russell Terriers have only recently been recognised, do you think that's been good for the breed? Do you think that they have come on since they've been recognised?
Of course. Well, they have been recognized in Finland and an FCI for many, many years. So, and actually, some of them are really gorgeous. They are beautiful. They are no longer these crooked front legs and funny short steps with ugly heads. I think Jack Russells, they are very high class Jack Russells all over the world. Ours were from Australia. Ours were from Australia.
Oh wow, yeah. There's some beautiful ones in Australia. Is there a fault that really irritates you?
Oh yes, lack of type. Lack of type and bad front. I hate dogs with bad front.
Yes. Yeah.
Everything is wrong when the front is bad.
Now, I asked you the next question, which was, has there been a particular dog that you've judged that in your opinion is as close to perfect as is possible, or gave you that wow factor? Now again, you've given me some photographs, so I think the best way to do this is I'm just going to put them up on the screen and you can tell me why this guy gave you such a wow factor.
Oh, yes. This is Cinecittà Zero Monstel, and I think that's a Maltese. I mean, the type proportions, pigmentation, head. Okay, first of all, the coat, correct coat, and look at the tail carriage, and groomed for perfection, and so nice dog under the coat. It was not a silhouette, it was a real dog. I thought it was gorgeous. I gave it best in show, and I thought it was a very, very easy winner. And from the same breeder, I have been putting up Cinecittà dogs, and I think he has been very successful of keeping the type and the coat. Yeah,
I have to say the pigmentation is stunning.
Yeah.
On its own. I mean, you can see that from just the photograph. Tara Bagnall wants to know what it is about Bichon Frieza that makes them one of your favorite breeds to judge.
I just love them. They are sturdy little dogs under their coats, and of course, as a poodle person, I like nicely groomed with their own expression, and they are wonderful. When you touch them, there is at least there's supposed to be a dog under the coat, but
Yes.
I really like the breed.
Yes, I think that's
and they
something that a lot of
nice
people don't realize.
All over the world, they are nicely prepared and they are clean. It's the same with the poodles.
Yes, in general, yes.
Yeah.
And then I asked you, my next question for you was: is there a dog, past or present, that you've never judged that you would love to have judged? Again, I'm gonna. You're great with the photographs. Thank you, because it makes it very interesting. So, talk us through this guy.
Oh yeah, that's my absolute favorite. Ellie Mae. I have to check how the spelling is. It's Alessi Elemental Afterglow. I saw her at Crafts a couple of years ago. I was standing by the ringside watching the breed judging, and I was standing behind Alison, the handler, and I said to her that, oh, I love her. And she was, I thought that she was happily surprised. And then, of course, the same year I was judging at the World Show in Germany, in Leipzig, and I was hoping to see the female in my ring, but I heard that she had some kind of an accident. But I think she's like my blonde ambition in black color.
It's like very a fabulous size.
Yes.
Not a camel head.
Yes. And correct proportions.
And one assumes she moved like a poodle.
Yes, absolutely.
So when you're judging, Tiina, and we've all had them from time to time, not too many, thank God, but how do you deal with irate exhibitors?
Yes, okay. You know, I'm kind of I know I'm short, but I have a bad mouth if I want to be bad. So normally I smile. Normally I smile and I just explain them why this one is second or third. But if they keep continuing being nasty, I tell them that, you know, you paid for my opinion, so that's it. And I guide them out kindly. Well, a couple of times I have to say that, get out of my ring. But normally people are behaving very well.
Yes, in general, I think. Yes. I don't think we have too many.
I know what to answer if somebody is, you know, being a big mouth. I know what to say. No problem with that.
Yeah. Zeferino Silva says that they love you in Portugal, and Gabriela Vega has just come on and said, "You see, Colm, Tiina has a fan club here in Portugal."
Yes. Well, I wish I could travel to Portugal. I mean, Portuguese Vinho Verde and the seafood, there's nothing to compare.
Yes.
The weather. And of course, my dear friends who have very Scandinavian attitudes or Irish attitudes. I think Finns and Irish and Portuguese fit in very well.
Yes, I think you're quite right. So your biggest judging achievement, Tiina. Now again, here we go. We've got photographs for you here, and let's go for it.
Okay, that I would say that's my biggest. This is World Dog Show Leipzig, Germany, 2017. I had a record entry of standard poodles entered, so they needed another judge to judge the apricots and silvers. And here is my best of breed. Gorgeous Canadian dog with the Swedish dogs in him, and this is Lotta Sandell from Hoofish. And actually, my best of opposite was from England, from Mike Gatsby. Electra, and a year after, the same female who was my best of opposite was best of breed for Mikke Nilsson in the next Bulldogs show. So, and of course, I was very proud when Ronnie Dudan gave this dog the group at the World Show.
And I have to say, Leipzig was one of the best World Dog shows. It was a great show, that show.
Was it? Oh my God, I think he was also a junior. Yeah, yes.
Oh, okay.
So it was a young, because actually it was Lotta's male bred by Lotta who won the Cassie. Yes.
Right. Thank you, Jussi. And Bichon.
Yes, this is my group winner, Jitterbob, clap your hands. This is, of course, a very, very big honor if you can judge the group in a Finnish winner show. We have always thousands of dogs, and this dog for me is very close to perfection. And of course, I was very proud that later on he was crowned like best in show. And the judge was Rainer Vuorinen, who is a very, very close friend and a great mentor. So it was a very wonderful,
It was a
memory.
beautiful neck and shape on that Bichon.
Yes.
And just you can see
actually, also, it was the last show that Rainer was judging, because we have the age limit in Finland, so it was his last show.
All right.
Oh, judging the first time the group in this show, and then ending up like best in show for Rainer. It was very emotional for all of us.
And what's the age limit, Tiina, if I can be so bold?
80. So I have still 21 years to go.
Do you think that's fair?
Yes, I think so. At least I was thinking that if I was 80, maybe it's time to sit home sometimes. But okay. Well, of course, some people can be very clever when they're 90 or 100. But when I've been talking with the people who are already now 80, they all seem to be fine with. Maybe before it, they were thinking that, oh, I would love to judge. But now when they have been retired, like Rainer, he comes to dog shows and we call and he's interested in what's happening. And actually, when I'm driving to my exams, I very often call him and I said, okay, can you please tell me what makes a collie a good collie? So when we are talking during the time I'm driving. So
okay. And we've got another one here now.
Oh yes, this is my first best in show judging in Finland. This was last January, not this January, but 2020.
Yes.
In Turku Dog Show. And
it's a great show.
Yes, big show also. I don't know, they had 6,000 dogs or 5,000 dogs. And I gave the best in show to the Silky Terrier, whom I actually gave the group already in Sweden in, I think it was November before that show, or My Dog. Is it Jan? Oh, okay, only a few weeks before then. Yes. Okay. Lovely dog, and you can just see the silky coat and the color.
We're going to start off your next one with a fabulous photograph, which is Tiina at her best.
Yes, this is a wonderful place also to visit in the summertime, to go to Split for the 4 shows. And I was very honored because my judging was to choose the Supreme Best in Show Junior. And of course, the rosette was for sure bigger than the dog, and most of the dogs, they have gorgeous, fabulous rosettes there. I gave it to an American Cocker. Here it's very big late night show. Actually living in Finland. I didn't put it up because it was coming from Finland, but because I really liked her. And I just loved the way how they arranged the Best in Show rings with all the music, and in the middle of the night,
Yes.
lights and music and gorgeous looking Croatian men around. So can complain?
And I don't think that anybody would argue with the fact, and certainly from my point of view as an American Cocker person, how beautiful American Cocker Spaniels are in Finland, and predominantly from Veri, which is
Yes.
one of the cleverest breeders on this planet, Laurent Pichard.
Yes, I'm very happy that Sanna, who
yes,
a co-breeder with Laurent, she used to have a standard poodle. She was showing standard poodle, so I know her since she was 15 years old. And of course, later on, she has been helping me sometimes in the ring when I have needed someone to show my dog. But really, really, I love when someone has the passion as her. I kind of find myself as a young girl when I got my poodles, and I got so excited about brushing and washing and showing and winning and traveling. So I can see a little bit of myself in Sanna when she's working with American Cockers.
And it is a great combination. I mean, from time to time, you do come across great combinations in this world, like Jeff Corish and Michael Code, or Jason and Mike Gadsby, but Sanna and Laurent really have nailed the breed in terms of quality and how they're presented.
Yes, and Laurent, I'm sure maybe you are listening and watching. You are really lucky you have Sanna washing your dogs.
Yes.
I have my Mari helping me with my Bostons, but Laurent has Sanna. So.
Yeah. And God, you've got quite a fan club. Desmond Murphy in America says hi.
Oh, Desi, hi, how are you?
And says you're the best.
Cheers,
Desi. Critiquing now. Sorry, let me get rid of it. Do you enjoy critiquing? Do you see a value in it?
Of course, that's the only way for people to learn. And of course, if you are not very knowledgeable person who is giving the critique, then it's not more value than the cost of the paper. But I think it's very important in an educational way, and that's why I study the standard every time before I'm going to judge, because it's a big honor for me, first of all, and I have to respect these people who have been in. Well, I might be judging it for the first time, but the person showing it has been doing it for 40 years. So am I going to tell her how the dog should supposed to be unless I really know the standard? So I think it's very, very important. And then you know why my dog is third and why this one is winning.
And for people who maybe don't critique very often, the importance if you're going to give out a very good, for instance, the importance of saying why you're doing that. I mean, you do get the odd judge that will give you a critique that has all very positive points, but then turns around and says, well, you're very good.
Well, I got one of this kind of critic last summer, and I must say that I was a bit pissed because the critic was fabulous. With this critic, you should be best of breed, but I got very good. So I thought that, there has to be the reason for the very good. For a poodle, it's easy to say that it's not carrying the tail, it's very good, because a poodle has to have the head and tail up. But I'm expecting to read the reason why I'm not winning, and I have no problem to be even last in the class if I can see that the ones placed before my dog are better.
And when you're judging, just carrying on from that, when you're judging, do you have there are judges who will fault judge. Do you have to have a number of faults before you give out a very good, or is it one particular thing that that will just.
Oh no! Like I said, I think before that some dogs carry their faults better. You can have a perfectly built poodle who just don't take the tail up or the head up, and then you have someone who is maybe has a little bit too curly tail, too gay tail, or kind of a bit flat feet, or missing a little bit of the length of the ear, which is not my cup of tea anyway. But if they walk in with the poodle attitude and carriage, of course, for me, they are more poodly. It's not a working breed. I can accept them to run with their head down, but not with a poodle.
No. And champion quality, do you like that?
Sorry?
Champion quality.
You mean the champion class?
I mean CQs, CKs.
Oh, CK. Yes, I think it's a very good idea because, well, I love it. You can have a young dog that you think that it's nice, but okay, not maybe a champion yet. And then you have a couple of nice ones in the class, but only one can win. So then you show your appreciation to the second and the third one, giving them CK quality.
I agree with you.
Class with ugly ones and you don't give any CK.
Yes, I absolutely agree with you. I think I personally love it because you can have a class of outstanding quality, and you might end up giving 4 CKs out, or you might have a mediocre class where you might only give out the 1. But sometimes, perhaps particularly when you have in bitches, you might have a very nice bitch, but she's just very ordinary. That she's no major fault, but she's not really, she lacks something. I think it's a great added qualification.
Yes, and when you have, for example, like a veteran dog, it can be already losing all the teeth, and you can see it's an old dog, but you still find a lot of quality, and then you can leave the CK out, but still this dog can compete in with the other veterans.
Yes. And as a judge, do you think you have a role, or do you think judges in general have a role in the development of breeds? And if so, do you think a lot of judges understand that role?
To be honest, no, they don't. Many of them. But judges should realize that there are people who are really listening what their judges are saying. They are reading the critiques like it's a page from the Bible. So it's very important for a judge to read the standard, to know what's going on, and not only. I remember when I was young, when I was crazy about the poodles with huge neck and short back, looking like a caricature. And of course, today I know much more, that I would never like to have a poodle like that. So balance and everything is important. What's important in the breed, then the judge should know it, and not go with that day's what's popular for the day.
Yes.
The standards are old, and we should all respect them.
Yeah, and I think also from a health perspective, I certainly remember judging Clumber Spaniels in Scandinavia many years ago, and they had a major problem with their heads, because they were way too, they could hardly see where they were going. They had so much skin over their eyes. But then Scandinavia introduced that whole judging where you had to fill out the form at the end of your judging. And I judged them many years later, and it was dramatic, the difference. That breeders had taken on what judges were saying, and they weren't winning with the over exaggerated heads. You know, and I think that's very good for breeds.
Definitely. And of course, if you have a healthy dog, it lives longer and it gives more pleasure to the family.
Absolutely.
Years.
And Francesco Cuccetti, who's good evening, Francesco, who's watching tonight, he's agreeing totally with you and saying you must always read the standard before judging. And I think even as an all-rounder, I think, and most all-rounders would say, yes, and most of us still do sit up for a couple of hours before the night reading standards. When you're judging professional handlers, do you adopt a slightly different approach? Do you watch for little signs that maybe they're hiding something, or do you just ignore? Do you just not bother?
Well, in Finland, we don't have professional handlers, so I judge everybody. I judge their dog. Of course, if I see a handler who is kind of a beginner, maybe coming for the first time in the ring, and I can see that he or she has a beautiful dog, I might give some advice, and I might give even a couple of more minutes for her or him to show the dog and not being nervous. But no, I would love to say that I am not judging the faces of the people. I know someone is thinking that, yes, Tiina did this because she knows the person. But like I said at the beginning, that I am the one next morning seeing my face from the mirror, and can I live with the sight, what I see? It's important.
Yeah, I agree with you more. Now, you're involved in the running of dog shows. You're involved in many breed clubs, etc. How important do you think it is for you to give something back to the sport? And do you think enough people do so?
Well, I know myself, I do give back because when I came to the dog world, I was 15, and I was kind of hungry for knowledge, and I was hoping people would help me. It was not always the case, but I know that I love to help. And if I see some puppies, so I like to go and say, okay, can you please put the tapes in the ears of the Boston? I hate that for ears, and I try to teach what I can, what I know. I want to teach. It's not because being arrogant, saying that I know everything, but I think it's only fair because these things are not written in the books, so it's good to hear. And and I've been there. You know, I've done everything that is possible to do, and sometimes very unlucky. I had to learn it through my what is the Achillean, but it's nice if I can teach someone, and that someone is going to be something in the hobby, in the sport later, that I give some kind of a positive kick.
And do you think kennel clubs do you think we involve young people enough in our sport and the organizational part of our sport, and even perhaps even in our kennel clubs? Do you think we involve our young people enough?
Well, of course not enough young people, but I think it's very obvious when you are young and you got your first dog, you are first of all interested in going to the dog show your own dog, taking part to the junior handling. So I think all this kind of working in the breed clubs as doing like secretary or something, you have to be older when you know how everything goes. And I think it's the reason why someone is young, and it's going to be the excited young person showing his or her own dog. And that's what you have to learn first. How can you run a club if you don't know how to, from the beginning, what to do?
Absolutely.
With your dog?
Absolutely. I mean, most of us started off way back just putting out chairs at shows, or helping organize the rings, etc., etc. I think that's where most people need to really start before they move on. Now you breed and very successfully breed Boston Terriers, and you were also involved with French Bulldogs.
And
How
pugs. Pugs.
and pugs, yes. What is your view on how kennel clubs across, particularly Europe, I think, are dealing with this whole issue regarding brazocephalic breeds, regarding health issues, and how they're dealing with these activist groups that are becoming more powerful? Do you think they're doing enough?
Honest opinion, no. I think kennel clubs should be more noisy and more visible.
Yes.
Because actually they are our breed. They are the organization behind all the doggy people and all the breeds. So of course we are expecting to hear more from the people who are in charge. But also what I have to say about these animal activists, for me they are terrorists. And I don't understand why they get so much attention, so much publicity, what they have ever done than hurting some animals and causing a chaos. If we are talking about, for example, foxes who are born unfortunately in these small crates, they know nothing better in their lives, but is it okay for them that some activists are opening the crates and then they are running loose and they have no idea how to behave in that?
You're quite right.
There are many things in this matter, but for me these animal activists are terrorists and we should not give them so much power.
But do you agree with our kennel clubs, and I say our kennel clubs because it's Europe, it's Scandinavia, altering standards so that, and don't get me wrong, Tiina, yes, I have judged French Bulldogs, I've judged pugs, I've judged Boston Terriers. There are a few issues with pinched nostrils, etc., etc., etc.
Of course, yeah.
Let's put that out there. But do you agree with the kennel clubs changing the standards and saying, okay, we're going to alter the standards so that the muzzles are more efficient, for want of a better word?
Well, I wouldn't say that if someone, I don't know how, first of all, it's not easy to change the standard.
No.
That's one thing. But if people would read the standard correctly, I think it says very, very clearly in every standard that it's a big fault, or it's a fault if it's not functional.
Yes.
If the breed is not functional. So it says very clearly, for example, French Bulldog standard, they say wide jaws, correct turn up, big nostril.
Yes.
So like a mediocre roached back. It doesn't say that it has to look like a camel with pinched nostrils. I think the problem is more like in the interpretation of the standard, and this is something all kennel clubs should, or breed clubs, to give more knowledge for puppy buyers, dog owners, judges, people who are planning to buy the dog, so that educate these people that when they go to choose their puppy, they don't buy it because they see that, oh, that poor puppy is living in a horrible place. That should ring a bell, first of all. But absolutely, they know what they are looking for. So if all these dogs that are used for breeding are according to the breed standard, and then like in Scandinavia, we are doing a lot of health checking. And my breeds, I have this Boston Pug and Frenchie, they are all having a special program. So if you don't do special health checking, you cannot even register your litter. So I think we are doing quite a lot more in Scandinavia than in many, many countries in the world. So in that way, I am feeling really sad when I have all these terrorists attacking our breeds, because not everybody is sick, But of course, we cannot say that there is no problem. There are problems, and we don't get rid of the problems unless we give some education.
Yes, and I think one of the problems, and again, you're involved with French Bulldogs and Pugs and Bostons, but one of the main problems, certainly on this side of the world, is that we have a lot of puppy farmers, puppy mills, who are just churning out unhealthy French Bulldogs, Pugs, etc., so, because they're popular, and we're getting targeted for that, even though we are more protecting the breeds rather than anything else. And this is where my next question comes in. Do you think our kennel clubs, do you think FCI, Kennel Club London, AKC, Australian Kennel Club, etc., do you think they should get together more and try and form a larger lobby group? Do you think FCI should be lobbying Europe more?
Absolutely. I to be honest, I don't hear much. I don't see much. It's so silent. It's like everybody's waiting what is going to be the next bomb that is going to be dropped among the young people, like Holland was last time. So and especially FCI, it's our organization. So they should be more visible, more loud, but so does all the kennel clubs.
Yes, I agree totally. And Rui Alves Monteiro, who's another major fan of yours, apparently, says we need more strategy and more PR. And I agree with him. I think we do.
Yes, and because I think none of us want to lose these breeds. I mean, if you look at the Frenchie, it's like a family dog. Pugs, they are friendly, they have good temperaments, and it's a pity that there are people who are, just producing without watching or doing any health tests. And in a way, I feel it's wrong that the honest breeders are punished because of them.
Absolutely, and I mean, I think people forget that these breeds are thousands of years old.
Oh yes, definitely.
And have not changed that much. I came across a photograph recently of, I think it was King George the VI of England with a French Bulldog, and it didn't look very much different to what you see in the show ring now. Show people have and breeders have protected the breeds to a huge degree, but that message is not getting out there.
Yeah, but it's a pity that not everyone, not all the breeders are feeling the same. Of course, these puppy farmers for me are not breeders; they are just making puppies.
Yes.
But there should be more attention to what they are doing. I don't have the answer. I don't know how to get rid of these puppy farmers. If I had the answer, then it would be easy. But
yes.
But I think the key word is educating puppy buyers who are planning to have the dog, and of course judges should not put up unhealthy dog.
Absolutely, in any shape or form.
Yes, or in any breed. I'm not talking only about the flat faces.
No, absolutely, I agree with you. In any breed.
Yeah.
And talking about quality of breeds, and I haven't written this question down, but I'm going to ask you anyway. It's widely regarded that dogs in Finland, particularly, and Scandinavia, are of superb quality.
Many of them are. Yes.
Why do you think that is? What has Finland done that is so extraordinary? And I mean, the quality of dogs in Finland is very strong.
Well, of course, we have excellent education. Our breed clubs is organizing breeder days, and we have a lot of material, and we have mentor system, and I like our system of teaching new judges.
Mhm.
I could say best in the world. Okay,
Yeah.
I haven't been participating other lessons, but in my own country, I know we do a good work, and especially I can for sure speak of our club, where I'm a board member. Jussi is the president of Toy Club. I think we have a really good material. We are both very excited about our breeds, and we just love to share the information. And I think that's the best way. But I know that there are countries that they don't have any exams, they don't have any lessons. And I think if you have some money, you can just buy your rights to
Yes.
some, unfortunately. But I think this is the way in all Scandinavia that we are serious people. Well, we have very cold country, so what else you can be serious? The happy Finns, and also I think we have we respect animals, and,
Yes.
and also we like to win. So when somebody is winning something, okay, damn, I have to beat her. I'm going to breed a better one. So that's the way how the quality stays high in some breed.
Yes. Yes. A fair point. Yeah.
And also our written critics is good thing to mention here.
Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. I think that I'd love to see more countries adopting them, including our own country, but that'll never happen. So we're going to lighten the mood now. You're going to have a dinner party.
Okay.
And I say I have asked you for 4 guests. I won't limit you to
Just for
4
that.
guests. I'm not going to limit you to 4 guests. Who must you
Okay.
have at a dinner party?
Well, at my dinner party, I'm just planning my 60th birthday party for next year, and I have already 110 names on the list. But I'm not going to mention them all now.
Oh, thank God for that.
I was first thinking about when you said about the dinner party for 4 past friends or friends of today.
Mhm.
Because of the situation of the COVID, I rather stay now with people who are living. And to be honest, I would love to have a wild girls' night. So obviously, my first dinner guest would be Mari Thorpe from Ireland. And I think
Yes.
everybody knows that Mari is a great party girl, like
Oh, yeah.
myself. And then my second one would be Kristin Sonberg from Norway,
Mhm.
Anki Johansson from Sweden,
Absolutely.
and Debbie Harbin from Australia.
Yes.
But then, of course, with these, we would be then 5 ladies. I would add there my boys Jussi, Moloran, and Kari. So I think we have already 9. And I think that party is really great and people would be jealous.
I would love to be a fly on the wall at that party because I tell you, Marie
You can see
Thorpe,
that
Debbie
all on the
Harbin,
Facebook, so don't worry.
Marie Thorpe, Debbie Harbin, and Anki Johansson. I'd love to see that party. So, is there a judge or breeder worldwide, and again, past or present, that you really admire?
Well, of course, I can first say my dear friend Carlos, who
Mhm.
passed away a few years ago. As a breeder and as a friend, pure gold.
Yeah, yeah. I couldn't
So,
agree more. And do you have a present one?
of course, I honestly, like I said, that I do love the Chinachita Maltese. I love the Finnish
Mhm.
Bison Frise. I love the American Cockers from
Yeah.
Lorraine and Anna, and there are so. To be honest, there are so many good breeders that I know that if I start to mention their names, it would take 1 hour.
Yes.
But I am sure these people know who they are because I like to be friends with my good breeder friends.
Well said. Okay, your funniest or most embarrassing moment as an exhibitor or a judge?
Oh, this is the story I have to tell you this. Maybe some of you have heard it, but This was 1988. I was going to a dog show to Sweden with the husband of my good friend. So he was having a standard poodle. He had a standard poodle with him, and I had a medium poodle from Kennel Top Score. Top Score Nobody's Business. So we took the ferry. We drove to the north of Sweden, and Marco with the standard got CC, but it was not enough for him. So he was sad about having only CC, which I thought it was great. Because you become, if your dog is a Finnish champion and you get a CC from Sweden, it would be a Swedish champion at the same time. But my medium poodle won the group. So I thought that, okay, the dogs were entered for the following day to Finland, to Oulu Dog Show. That, okay, I will skip the Best in Show on Sunday. And we started to drive to Oulu, where we both were beaten. And of course, I was a bit surprised because I had a Norwegian bred poodle who was the top poodle in Norway, and the judge was from Norway, but I was placed number 4 or number 3 after 2 Norwegian exhibitors. So I was a bit pissed about that. And then, of course, Marco was sad because he got nothing with the standard. So I thought that, okay, we are in the north. So how would I get ourselves to the Best in Show ring? And then Jouko Leiviska said that, why don't you rent an airplane? I said, okay. So we went to the airport, and unfortunately, we had to wait for someone because it had to cross the air border between Finland and Sweden. It had to be someone with an international license.
Yes.
So we waited, and then we got a pilot who actually was a professor from Oulu University. But it took so long time that when we finally landed and hitchhiked to the taxi with a poodle, and it was a kind of a small plane. It was the pilot and Marco sitting in the front row, and then there was the second row where was me and the poodle with the full top knot. And so we arrived to the dog show. So it was finished. They were, collecting the rings. There were no one else left except a lady who had her booth still there. So I bought a bottle of shampoo, and then we flew back. So I learned something from that never leave the showground. If you have won the group, stay there, no matter whatever happens. So, and then, of course, the day after, Astrid phoned me and said that, oh, congratulations for winning the group. But where the hell were you during the Best in Show? And said, well, I was up in the air. And then she said that, yeah, but this Norwegian judge really wanted to see the poodle in the Best in Show ring because it was his favorite.
Oh, no.
So, but this was in the 80s, so now I think I'm more clever. At least I hope to be more clever.
Yeah. Okay, so what's your guilty pleasure?
Everybody knows my guilty pleasure. But to be honest, nobody knows that I love to sit in my home in darkness with only a few candles, watching murder mysteries or detective stories. My favorites are the Scandinavian ones or English ones, with wine.
Okay, that's allowed.
It's you can never do wrong unless you drink too much. But the murder mysteries are my guilty pleasure.
Yes, there's nothing like an old murder mystery now and then. So if you could be transported to one country in the world, where would it be?
Well, now it would be easy to say Ireland because, like I said before, I feel like I have been Irish in my past life.
Yes.
The problem with the country is the weather.
Yes.
But is there something better than an Irish pub or river dance or the atmosphere or the friendly people? My second choice would be Portugal. And Gabriela, Vinho Verde, and Portuguese seafood is the best. So these are 2 countries, and then I would go to Italy after.
Well, I can tell you right now in Ireland, it's very dry, it's very warm, and there isn't a pub open in the country.
So better go to Portugal.
Yes.
No, I think it's better to stay with Jussi and Loran because we have enough wine here.
Okay, so if you could write your epitaph finally, what would it be?
I would start it with cheers. She bred some damn good dogs, and she lived her life the fullest.
Well, I think that is a superb note to end on. And I want to thank you very much. It's been superb. You've been great entertainment, very knowledgeable. Loved all of the things you've been talking about. And I think most people will have great viewership tonight. And I think people will have thoroughly enjoyed that. You're a legend. So thank you very much, Tiina.
Thank you very much. We have both enjoyed it. Jussi.
Yes, good evening, Jussi. Make an appearance.
Hello.
Show your face. Here is Jussi.
This is the this is the techie man.
No, he's never techie.
Technical.
Oh, technical. Okay, technical. Yes.
Technical.
I'm very bad with computer.
So my guest next week. I mean, how do you follow Tiina Taulos, for God's sake? But next week we actually travel to Portugal, and my guest is the very popular Pedro Bispo, who I'm very much looking forward to interviewing. So same time next week. In the meantime, Tiina, stay safe, stay you, and enjoy your next glass of wine. I'm about to head off and fill up mine.
Thank God we have plenty here.
Yeah, and hopefully we will see you very soon, either here or there, and we will share a glass of wine together again. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, everybody, for watching, and we'll see you again next week.
Okay, good night.